Hey, Dan Meyer here, and I'm back again with part 2 of talking about dashboards, right? The goal here is to bring dashboards back from the dead. Now, business dashboards have been around for 20 plus years now, and they've gotten pretty stale. A lot of us are doing the same things we were doing 20 years ago with dashboards. We're feeding in data, we're building reports, we're sharing it, and boom, we're done. It's really no more exciting than a glorified Excel spreadsheet from the mid-90s. Which is not what we want to be doing. So business dashboards. In part 1, I talked about 4 things that I came across from this article I read by Mary Shacklet on LinkedIn about the things that she recommends that we do to make analytic dashboards more valuable. She talked about automated analysis, assisted insights, building guides that give the user action points, and having a long-term narrative with your dashboard so they contribute to the overall story arc of your business. That was part 1. So today in part 2, we're going to focus more on how to improve the dashboard experience. So the 4 things I'll talk about today is how to plan for behaviors you want to drive. What do you want people to do when they see your dashboard? You want to familiarize end users, right? We got to get away from the fact that it's just analysts talking about stuff, sharing stuff. It's got to be questions coming from the end users. The end users got to be driving the analysis. We just facilitate. They're the ones that need it. And if we're just feeding them things, they're not going to value it as much as if they're bringing it up themselves. Number 3 is we want to create more highly focused dashboards, very specific dashboards, right? We don't need a dashboard necessarily that tells us everything about everything. We want to keep it simple and focused. And number 4, we want to use more data storytelling. Data storytelling has to happen in conjunction with business dashboarding to be effective. So if we do these 4 things, we're going to be able to improve the experience in our organization. So the first thing is plan for behaviors you want to drive. What do you want people to do when they see a dashboard? When I build a business dashboard, in my experience working at Wells Fargo, my primary goal was to give my boss and his peers, other senior executives at the bank, the idea of what to do based on the data. Do we offer more credit card products in this state? Do we need to hire more bankers in this city? Do we need to figure out a way to really push this checking account product because it's not giving us the impact we thought it would? So behaviors would be, okay, go out and hire more people. Go out there and push this product more. Have the marketing department think of new things to get the product going. Figure out how to target this city in our marketing campaigns. Those are the kind of actions that I wanted to see. And the behaviors would be take the data and think about what to do next with it. Don't just go, okay, now I understand what happened in the past. It should be more, now I know what I need to know to do in the future. When you get that kind of action coming out of dashboarding, when you're doing things that can influence behavior in a positive way, you're going to be really successful. I'll share with you a really quick version of something I did way back in my time at Wells Fargo, which was basically I influenced the decision making in the state of Florida when Wells Fargo acquired a bank called Wachovia, and we were trying to figure out where to do our first launch of our very first Express-In money transfer business, which branch would be our first branch we'd make a big deal about. And the senior executives wanted to go to Miami, and the data said go to Orlando. And I had to build, using the business dashboard and data storytelling, the ability to influence the behavior of the decision makers that they should go not for where they thought was the best one, but where the data says they should go. So that's really an example of what you can do. Number 2, familiarize end users with the usage and benefits of enhanced dashboards. Familiarize end users with the usage and benefits. Most business people don't look at dashboards as anything more than a glorified report. That's part of the problem. We're not doing enough to make sure they're familiar with it. That they look at a bunch of pie charts and line graphs and they don't make sense of it. The idea was that we would use pie charts and line graphs to make sense of data, but we're still falling short. Users need training and practice to be able to extract value out of things. They can't just look at something. They need to experience it. You want to have a situation where you're getting people to pull their own data and build their own visualizations off of the dashboard. The dashboard should be a starting point that people can then build and personalize things for their own business decision making. So this is a really big thing. Familiarize end users. Create more highly focused dashboards. This is number 3, right? Specific operational outcomes. Dashboards that are overly general exact too much burden on the audience. Everyone in the audience is not an expert in all the same things. So when you build a dashboard that goes across a management team or a bunch of executives or even a business operations team, and they all look at the dashboard, they're all going to come up with different experiences and with different needs, and they're all going to walk away with different action items. So you have to make sure that you fine tune it, that you hone it, so that your dashboards that you're building are very, very specific. You can, yes, have a high-level senior management dashboard that covers a little bit of everything, just for them to see kind of how things are, get the pulse kind of thing. But for operational use in a business unit, you want to make sure that your dashboard is giving you the 3 or 4 most important KPIs. And they're right there and easy to see. They're easy to understand. They're easy to access that data and do the self-analysis. Those things are super important. So make sure that you're allowing them to extract actionable information via your dashboard. Number 4 is data storytelling. It's funny, this has been around about 10 years now. When I first heard data storytelling, I was like, okay, yeah, it makes sense, data storytelling. But I've learned it's so much more, right? The really missing element in a lot of businesses is somebody's ability to take data and build a narrative. The challenge here is you have nerds working on the data, and you have business people that are people in decision making, and you have this disconnect where the people can't make sense of numbers very well. And they can't even really make a lot of sense out of pie charts and line graphs very often. They look at it and they kind of think they know what they're doing and they get it a little bit, but they still aren't sure what to do with it. This is where data storytelling comes in. This is why I talk so much about the importance of thinking about how to influence behavior. Share stories about the data to make critical business decisions, right? You have to be a bit of even if you're an introvert, you got to find extrovert inside you somehow to talk about things. In the day and age where we're doing things mainly online, you have to think about how to visualize stuff and how to share things. You can't just talk about a dashboard. You have to actually personalize it and share the stories. The whole idea of data storytelling is to really take that narrative arc. This is where we are. This is the elements that are going to change what we're doing. This is where we're going to go if we do X. This is where we're going to go if we do Y. This is what's going to happen if we do Z. You want to be able to use data storytelling to show people how their choices impact future choices. It's really about building that narrative, just like you would if you're writing a book or filming a movie. You think about how do you get your audience to go from start to finish. That's data storytelling. But you have to do it with lots and lots of data and lots of tools. A business dashboard is a key part of that because it's a starting point. The business dashboard is the visual tapestry that you start with that then you weave in narrative to. And it's going to evolve over time. You don't want your data storytelling to basically be reporting, because it's not, right? If you're just reporting what happened in the past, you're not telling stories. Stories are about what's going to happen in the future. It's going to have to be some kind of change, some kind of something that drives the plot forward. So that's my real quick 4 tips on really how to make the dashboard experience more personable, more useful to people. So I hope you enjoyed part 1. We talked about how to bring dashboards back from the dead, and part 2, how to make dashboards more personable, have them be a better part of your experience. I love talking about data. If you want me to talk about data for you and your business, you're curious about this, you want to do analytics, you need help with business dashboards, reach out to us at sonicva.com, sonicva.com, and I'll be happy to do a training for you and your team virtually or eventually back in person again. My team of VAs, besides helping do things like build business dashboards and prepare elements for data storytelling, we specialize in making YouTube-ready videos. We create engaging graphic designs, and we manage your social media. Sonic VA is here to help you focus on what you do best by hiring for all the rest. So I want to thank you for your time. Now go out there and analyze some data.